grabs my arm. I'm going to the hospital after this. I'm not reporting it to Whitehall.
One of this board member?
No, the Fullerton board member, Fullerton Fire Company.
Where were you then?
Michael Yost. Unfortunately, I did get involved with him. He did not want me to come here and speak tonight. He tells me, this is what he tells me, and this whole story sounds crazy, okay, that the board members paid him to stop me from doing this stuff. Now, again, I think that's crazy. I'm repeating what he told me. He grabbed my arm, twisted me, tried to take my keys so I didn't come here tonight. This story is ridiculous, but I'm not giving up now. I was going to move out of Whitehall because I don't trust the police. I don't trust anybody anymore. And why would any woman? There's a group of women who are going to sue Whitehall because Whitehall does nothing for women when they're threatened. And why did that woman die? Because she was afraid to go to the police. That's what I was told. She went several times and they wouldn't help her.
Well, we don't know that is.
Yeah, well, let's see what comes out of the lawsuit.
We're not here to
okay, let's see what comes
rumors,
out.
Okay?
Okay, now, I think that's about all I can say. I don't know why the fire chief was at my house, why he said I'm crazy.
Well, if you don't mind, our fire chief is here tonight.
Okay, all right.
Can we ask the fire chief?
Yeah, go ahead. Why were you called to my house? Sure.
We were actually called for her house because there was an open burn. One of our fire trucks was going by. They stopped to talk to the gentleman. The gentleman was very cooperative, and unfortunately she was not. There started to become a conflict. I was asked to come over there. I came over there to talk to the lady. She became very violent, or excuse me, not violent, very boisterous at us and used a few profanities and stuff like that. At that time, we asked her to extinguish the fire. She said she didn't really have to do anything that we asked.
This is all a lie, sir.
Well, there's two sides of every.
Okay.
Okay.
I was not.
Ma'am, we let you speak now, please. Okay, I know, but we let you speak now. We're just trying to get the other side.
Okay. I know. I wasn't going to say that. Go ahead.
At that time, it started getting pretty confrontational. I asked for the police officers to come to the scene. The gentleman was very compliant with us and wanted to work with us. On the other hand, she kept getting into the way. I asked her if she could just step out of the way, and she said this was her home and she didn't have to. And I said, you're absolutely correct. It is your home. You don't have to, but we do need to put this fire out and we need you to comply. There was no food outside or anything like that as far as that. And this was the second time my deputy chief had already been there once previously for an open burn, and so we're still being polite to her and just asking her to put the fire out as opposed to citing her. At that time, I said if she doesn't want to put the fire out, that we would cite her. She said, I don't care, go ahead, it's him that's going to be going to jail. And at that time, I said there was no real reason. He was compliant with us, and so we just left it with that, and the police gave her a warning and we left.
Thank you.
Okay, first of all, the fire was already put out before I came home. I was not violent or vocal. Okay? The fire chief told me that they had stopped there before. I requested to know what date and a report on it. Because honestly, I would like to know, who is this person that is supposedly burning at my house? The fire chief could not give me a date or anything, because I don't think it ever happened. If he can give me a date that he stopped at my house, I would love to see it. I'd love to see the reports. I was not cited by the police. Check the reports. The police said, we don't know why we're here. The gentleman did build the fire. He didn't, it was wrong, okay? I admit that. I wasn't home. He put it out. The firemen came, they said to him, either we'll put it out or you'll put it out. They were only there to harass me, okay? There was never another fireman at my house for an open burn. We don't even do that. I don't even know how to pick a fire. I asked them if it was the same gentleman, Michael Yost. I asked the fire chief that. He said no. The other man said it wasn't Michael Yost. The only man that has lived in my house since I'm there is Michael Yost. They did not want to cite Michael Yost because he is one of the boys. Now, this can all be proven. What are we going to do about it? Get reports of what the police said to me, please.
Lieutenant, in the back, do you have any knowledge from your point of view from this? And then we can put this to bed and move on.
No, we're not putting it.
Well, as far as what we can do
what kind
here.
of action you're going to take.
Well, we have to work through our police department. We don't do.
That's fine.
We don't do individual actions as a commissioner.
Okay. How about the fire chief? What's going to be done to him?
Well, at this
You know
point, we
what is
don't
going
know
to be
if
done
he's
to the fire
anything
chief for
wrong.
lying,
Well,
for
can we hear
saying
from the
what's going to be
police
done?
first?
Okay.
Commissioners, I have spoken to Ms. Johnson on the phone.
Who is this?
This is Lieutenant Bueller.
Okay.
She has reported to us threats made by other people. At this point, they are all hearsay. None of our officers have witnessed any of these threats. We don't have any other witnesses. She's been referred to the magistrate for civil action.
What did I report to you? Could you tell me?
I don't know exactly. It was a long
One time.
ago.
One time.
I don't know.
One time. So you made it sound like I reported several times.
I've
Sir.
spoken to you on the phone.
Okay. Are you the supervisor when Roy Ferguson threatened me? That told me you would take no action. Is that you?
I don't know. I don't have the report.
How come you don't know? You
don't have the
could
reports in front
stand
of me,
here and
that's
say,
why.
you could stand here and say, you called me. Why can't you show me the proof? Because there is no proof, sir. I only called one
Well,
time.
I think we have to.
Okay, my attorney is going to be subpoenaing the records. If this is not handled, you know what's gonna happen. I have proof of everything, just so you know.
That's the best thing you should do.
Okay, any other?
See if there's anybody else.
Anybody else for public comment? Okay. Bill number 29-2017, first reading. Title: An ordinance amending Chapter 17 of the Whitehall Township Codified Ordinances, zoning, specifically Article 12, off-street parking and loading, subsection 27-145, design and construction by revising sections 27-145E, parentheses 3, with respect to single-family residential driveway construction, and section 27-145T with respect to end-of-row spaces. This one was attached.
But you have to tell them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. The bill number 27-2017 is being postponed. It's pulled from tonight to go to next month. Okay? Okay. Now, bill number 31-2017, title: An ordinance amending Chapter 5 of the Whitehall Township Codified Ordinances, Codes Enforcement, Article 5, Property Maintenance Code, Section 5-16, Insertions, Additions, and Deletions, subsection A, parentheses 7, regarding motor vehicles, and subsection A, parentheses 13, which added Chapter 10, Inspections and Certificates of Occupancy, Existing Structures, Section 1002, Points of Inspection, subsection 1002.1, Single Family Residence. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do I have any questions from the board? Do I have any questions from the floor? Mr. Secretary, will you please poll the board?
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Hinder,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaniger, aye. Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
and President Armstrong.
Aye.
Bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Bill number 32-2017, title: An ordinance amending the civil service rules and regulations of the Township of Whitehall, County of Lehigh, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, setting forth standards and procedures for the operation of the Civil Service Commission pursuant to the First-Class Township Code, defining terms, establishing the duties and powers of the Commission, governing applications for employment and promotion within the Bureau of Police, determining examination protocols and creation of eligibility lists, setting forth standards for physical, psychological, and voice stress analyzer examinations, and establishing rules governing suspensions. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Do I have any questions from the board?
All right. The fact that it has in here setting rules for the voice stress analyzer, it was, when I talked to
We're getting rid of that.
well, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that was going to be deleted. Not from here, but
What
deleted
was
from
that,
the
Tom? I'm
rules.
sorry, I missed
The
that.
voice stress analyzer, because I specifically talked to the chief on that, and the way it was worded here, I wasn't 100% sure that it was gonna be in there. Deleted, so, does anyone know that here?
As far as I know.
Chief Mark said it was, that's why we were deleting it, it was
Yeah,
no
I know,
longer
yeah,
as,
but as, again, as I'm reading it, I don't see where it's deleting it in there. Am I reading it incorrectly?
It's not.
That- I don't see anything that says it's deleting
It's
it.
not. But we could do that. Unless he has.
well, I thought in the, that overall bill they did.
When I'm going by, just,
I made no change to the ordinance.
okay, like I said, I just want to make sure that it is not going to be something that's going to be used again.
Jack says yes.
Yes, it's
It was,
deleted.
oh, that,
Yes.
Okay. Happy guy.
Yep, that's, well, that's what.
I would add that to, I would make that change. I know you said it, but I would make the change, I would make sure that's in there. Because it's red district, I would make that change verbally.
Okay. See, I can't remember now the email. I know it was in red, but I don't know if that was. No, this, again, it was a big deal when it was put in there. It was something that we had to go through very often, and I just wanted to make sure it was deleted, and, you know, I believe that, and,
As long, I understand what you're saying. We make sure that that is removed.
you know, other people have any questions.
Okay, is there anybody else that, is there any questions from the floor?
And again, I saw this in the email that we got, was saying that it was deleted. All I'm saying is,
Jude.
the title on here,
Should we just-
I can't see that as it is deleted, that's all.
That's
After-
what we're saying.
All you have to do is, it will be noted that you.
Be noted,
have-
right, exactly, that's
it.
what I'm saying,
Okay.
exactly right.
That is the polygraph.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I see that.
No, I thought you said it was the voice analyzer.
Voice stress analyzer.
No.
No.
But he said
Voice stress-
polygraph.
No, the polygraph was put in to supersede the voice stress
Yes,
analyzer.
right.
What I didn't want to happen is that they would have both.
Mr.
And
President,
that's what I'm worried about. I'm not president, I'm
no,
just a
I'm
secretary.
talking to the president.
Okay.
The package you got has that change.
Yes.
And
My office didn't.
on there, what I see, it has both on there. It doesn't say that it's the voice stress analyzer is going to be just, stopped, or, when I read it, I don't get that as a huge.
Well, not in our packet, it's very clearly on there.
No, it shows that.
That, yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's there.
Okay, I'm sorry if I'm calling such a rough.
We did not make that change.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there.
So we will duly note
Yes.
that it will be taken out. Okay. Okay, any other questions? I asked from the floor. Okay. Mr. Secretary, will you please poll the board?
Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes, with the removal of the voice analyzer.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
President Armstrong.
Aye.
Bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Bill number 33-2017, title, an ordinance requiring certain structures in the township to have a key lock box, in parentheses, Knox box, installed on the exterior of the structure for fire safety purposes during an emergency, providing for the servability of parts of the ordinance deemed to be invalid, repealing ordinances, resolutions, or parts thereof, in conflict herewith and providing for an effective date. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions from the floor, of the board? I have a question, Chief, I guess. Has this become a problem, that we have come upon these structures and have no way of getting in?
We have a few structures that do not have the Knox boxes. Actually, the Knox box ordinance is already in the International Fire Codes, which we have adopted, and we're good. What we're looking for is actually where the placement of the boxes to be put. Currently, the placement can be anywhere they want. They can put it 200 feet away from the front door. With the ordinance that we ask for is that it be put within 6 foot of the front door, no lower than 4 foot, and no higher than 5 foot. If you go to the mall, you'll see some of them in there, and they're roughly 6'5". If I have a gentleman that's 4 foot, there's no way he's going to be able to put the key in to get into the thing. So we're trying to universally put the box in a certain spot that they can be located.
That would definitely increase safety too. Thank you. Great idea. Any questions from the floor? Mr. Secretary, will you please poll the board?
Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Swanager, aye. Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
and President Armstrong.
Aye.
Bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Bill number 34-2017, title, an ordinance prohibiting open burning in the township, providing for the servability of parts of this ordinance deemed to be invalid, repealing ordinances, resolutions, or parts thereof in conflict herewith, and providing for an effective date. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do I have any questions from the board?
Yes, I do. Chief, sorry to keep moving back up and forth here. The one part I have a question about is the last part with the fire pits. I understand the burning of the trash, and understand the burning of the brush, and all that kind of thing. Do we, I mean, there's probably so many fire pits
There are.
in Whitehall at this point. How do we regulate this? What's your best?
Currently, there is no open burn in Whitehall. What we're trying to do with this ordinance is actually make the legal part of it stick. The way that we can go around it is that it's a safety to the homes. The International Fire Code says there can be no open pit within 50 foot of your house. So anybody that currently has that is in violation of that already to begin with. We're just trying to solidify the law and help it work. When we want to cite somebody, that we can actually cite it under this specifically, as opposed to trying to say it's a hazard to the home or what the problem is there. And there's nothing been in there. With Allentown, they have a open air policy, is what it is, and that's what we fall under because we're neighboring to them, so we can't have the open burn as it is. But we've never really had anything specifically that said that in the ordinance. So when I mentioned that, there's ways I can go about asking and telling them that, but there's nothing I can point to as far as an ordinance and say this is what it is. So that's what we're trying to do with this.
This is great.
But as far as the pits, it's 50 foot, so they couldn't have it anyway, and the only way they can burn is if they were burning to feed themselves or to keep themselves warm. That's the only thing as far as you can burn.
So are you saying you're outlawing Are you outlawing with this ordinance all
There's
fire
never
pits?
been an open burn permit, so
I
anybody that...
understand the difference, I
Correct.
understand what you're saying, but I know,
Yes.
I know that people have them, and
And when we
they're
do
not,
find that they
some
have
of them that
them,
I have, they're not destructive.
the problem is where do we draw the line?
But that's what I was gonna ask you, and how you're gonna be consistent with, you're just gonna tell everybody,
Everybody, there's no open burning whatsoever, there's no fire pits, and that's the way it's been since before I was here.
And
And that's what I'm continuing to enforce, unless you guys choose differently and that's what you wish to do.
I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But if they cook on an open grill with charcoal or something like that, that might be like a round charcoal grill, it's the same thing, is it not?
Correct, and there's nothing I can do about it. As long as there's food out showing that they're burning and they're cooking, that's the loophole.
So if I have a fire pit with a grate,
And you have food
Have a
next
hot
to
dog,
it.
though.
it's
I have a hot dog on a grate.
put a hot dog on. That's true.
Now, would a outdoor, I know there's these pits now that have propane, would that be the same thing too?
I would have to look into the International Fire Code to verify that, but I want to say yes. But I'm not 100%. I would have to look back and I'll get back with you and let you know. I know it's wood for sure, but I'm not sure about the propane.
Would you be terribly upset if we postponed this for 1 month till we found out those kind of answers?
Sure.
I mean, because, you know, we need to kind of.
I would say there's,
I think we need to look into it more, to tell you the truth.
As it stands now, I would not vote.
Yeah, me as well, and I think we need to look into more of it, so
As
that
far as-
I'd be more satisfied with it.
And I have no problem with that. I'll answer any questions that you have. As far as the open burn though, like I said, that's a state law, that's not something.
Right.
Yeah, that's not
Right.
something
And
we
so
can.
with the open burning, you're not gonna be able to have that pit, whether you want it or not. That's
Yeah.
what the state law says, right, well, it's not. That's your DEP and everything.
Unless you're cooking with it.
And of course, unless you're cooking or trying to keep warm, those are the only two things they can't regulate.
Or marshmallow.
As long as you have-
Morris is cooking.
Unless you're trying to keep warm.
Correct. Like somebody's homeless or something like that, if they had an open burn and they're trying to burn and keep themselves warm, there's nothing we can do to do that. The only thing that I know in Whitehall that we regulate is they have the open, it's a type of furnace that you put wood in to heat your
Yes.
home.
Oh, you can't do that, yeah, right.
Well, that we took care of a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Correct.
One more question too, just for clarification. If somebody builds a brick, like fireplace or something outside, how would that be regulated?
And unless you're using it for cooking or keeping warm, you cannot have it. No chimeneas, no screen things or anything.
Wow.
How many, can I ask this question, how many fires do you go to that were started by an outdoor fire pit, where it's burned a structure?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, sir, I just don't know.
I'm just
I
asking.
I could try to look it up and stuff, but
I appreciate it.
our reports are just kind of limited
Right.
as we went to computers now and stuff. So.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? We finished the board first, then we go to the floor.
All right, I want to have him up here.
Okay, any questions from, any others from the board? Is it the board's agreement then, that we can table this for?
Yes.
Yeah, and, well, is it table it or back to L&L with it? And if it's going back to L&L, then we're gonna need some people back there to give us the right answers at that meeting.
I think
That's a better idea, go
Yes.
back to L&L. Would you mind?
No.
And then we can bring in, and, yeah.
Because we can't be sitting back there making up the rules on it.
Right. I think we should get it right.
Well, there's the way it's.
Well, and then there's the state rules, and
Right.
you have to follow the state
And there's the
rules.
fire, there's a whole set of things and what trumps pleasure, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah,
And we need guidance with that, without question.
and we've already been told on a lot of other issues that we can't go against anything from the state, as we found out.
No problem. More
Okay,
than happy.
all righty,
Thanks, Chief.
okay. Again, this is gonna be tabled now.
Okay, sir,
So
can I
it might-
ask you?
You must come to the mic.
No,
How are you able
yeah,
to-
again, well, you have to go to the microphone, your name and address.
Okay. My name is Lenora Martucci Johnson. I live at 754 Mickley Road, Whitehall, Pennsylvania. This gentleman just stated that any fire pit more than 50 foot away from the house was legal in the state, correct?
Illegal.
No,
No, more than 50 foot away from your home is legal.
Not have an open.
no, he said no open
Within
burn.
50 foot of your home.
Has to be away from your home.
That's right, and mine is more than 50 feet away from my home.
But we all-
This gentleman
That's where
came to, I have a fire pit, sir. Please let me talk now. I have a stone fire pit, okay? More than 50 feet away from my home. This gentleman told me he could cite me. Now, if the law is one thing for one resident, why is it different? Actually, this gentleman told me that day, I have this little chimney thing, you know, it's like round like this, and it has a thing up this way, and a grate on the top. He told me, as a Whitehall resident, that that was illegal to use. Now,
He just
right
stated
now,
that. He just
he's
stated
saying it is technically not illegal.
No, he did not.
Okay, all right, so no one can do those.
Any open burning, period,
And he said,
Close to your home.
cannot is not allowed in Whitehall Township
Okay,
per the DEP.
okay, now, but
Department
what
of
are you
Environmental
changing then?
Protection.
I don't understand what you're changing then.
This is solidifying the ordinance.
So
Okay.
we come in
So
compliance
you're
with
going
the
to make
state.
it that no one can use their little chimneys? Or you're gonna find
Until
them?
We're
next
not trying to
month.
make it, it's what it seems to be already.
It's what
Okay,
somebody
so
already higher up
every
than
time
us.
somebody uses it, the fire chief is gonna come to their home. That's what you're saying? Not just my home, right?
Well, that's basically
Okay.
what you are.
All right, but mine is more than 50 feet away.
But it's still an open burn.
Okay, I'm told that that's legal because it's more than 50 feet away. We'll all research the
no,
law,
no,
okay?
no.
We're all gonna research
Open
it.
burns is,
We're just gonna research it.
thank you, chief, very much.
And we're changing that part.
interesting.
Is that what you're saying? We're changing that. No, excuse me, wait a minute, I have a
You
question.
made the motion
As regards-
before, so you need
I have a
to.
question.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I have a question I'm asking the mayor. Right now, is that what the law says? It can be 50 feet, or is that what we're changing to that 50 feet?
I wasn't at L&L. The rule had always been no open burn.
I get that. I think I get that.
The 50 feet comes from the International Fire Codes at 2000 standards.
But so that's what's on the books now.
Correct, which Whitehall Fire Department, or Whitehall Township has adopted as International Fire Codes of 2000. In that, it states that there can be no open burn within 50 feet.
Right.
It does not mean that there can't be 75 feet or anything else, it's just saying you cannot have a pit or anything like that. Through the DEP, we cannot have the open burn anywhere, period. That's what it comes down
That
to.
supersedes the property
Correct.
code.
Correct. Did I answer that? ma'am?
Yes?
I'm sorry, chief, one other question that just cropped up. Cooking wise, we're okay, but if somebody's cooking for 6 hours,
Technically,
and
as long
there's
as they
people
have-
that do claim
Big
that.
roast.
If we get there and there's food out, there's nothing we can do. Unless it's some type of safety violation where the fire is extremely huge and it's starting to catch other things on fire, then we can ask them that we need to put it down.
Okay.
and lower it down. But as long as you're cooking and you can show proof that you're cooking, there's nothing we can do about
So if I get 6 hour bacon, I'm good.
it. Correct.
Okay.
Years ago, chief, just a question. Because I had a neighbor that actually went to Chief Benner and got a permit to burn, he had cut down a lot of shrubs.
Bonfire permit.
Yeah,
Correct. We still have
and,
those.
okay, so that is still possible in the
Correct. As long
town.
as you come and get a permit,
Kinda
and
get a-
explain what you need to do
Okay.
and stuff like that.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mario.
Mario has a question.
Mario Spinelli, 251 Sumner Avenue. I'd like to ask the chief, during that haunted woods, is fire getting to be a problem? Are those open barrels, is that allowed out at the parkway?
They have a burn permit, just the open burn permit, like the bonfire permit? Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where.
See, that's why I asked the question, Miriam. There's a,
I don't think that's right. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't think that's, if
Any
you
ma-
want to enforce all of that, then I don't think that's proper.
Anybody that wants to apply for the bonfire
Well,
permit can
I
apply
don't
for it.
think
We've
that's
had many
right.
people, man.
Are they burning?
But you can't have one at your house.
They're, for the most part, burning the dead trees that have fallen over
Correct.
the storms we've had over the last.
Correct, they're using it to keep, they're using it to keep warm as well.
So if you use your pit, think about this, to keep warm, throw some food on it, you're okay. Just put a hot dog on, you know, a little pan, throw hot, it burns, just let it go.
Make sure you have rolls.
There you go. You're fine. There's always a way. There's always a way. I always can find
I
a way.
think we've done enough with this. Yeah,
I learned that one time. I always can find a
Yako
way.
pack in
No matter what it
fingers
is,
just
I
in
will
case.
find a way to do it. No matter what, that's been my life. I always find a way. Always find
I
a
would
way.
like to rescind my motion on bill number 34, since this is going back to L&L.
Okay, Jeff, do you want to?
I'll rescind my second on that motion.
Okay. Okay, motion is going back to L&L. Okay, resolution number 2986. A resolution conditionally approving the land development plan of 2350 MacArthur Road, located at 2350 MacArthur Road, Whitehall Township, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, index number 1903-17, Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Do I have any questions from the board? Any questions from the floor? Mr. Secretary, will you please poll the board?
Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
and President Armstrong.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion to designate Friday, October 27th, 2017, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. as the official trick or treat night in Whitehall Township, with a rain date of Saturday, October 28, 2017. Who would like the honor of introducing
I would,
that?
because I always was the person, this is my thing to read. And this will be
Okay.
my last time.
Okay, all
I always
right.
got to read this. It became an exception for me.
All right, Linda. Any second?
I'll second it.
Okay. That's a lively group we have tonight. Any questions from the board? I would add a comment as a teacher of 40 years, that is the best thing possible, to have that on Friday nights, that the kids are not sugared up and then out late and have to go to school
Not
the
only the
next day.
kids.
Yes, yes. No, that's the best thing known to man. And I would encourage our residents, before we vote on this, to please put your porch lights on to let the children know that you're a house that would welcome them. Because, gee, it's one night a week or a year, you know? Cut them a break, get them a little candy. We'd appreciate that. We have wonderful children in Whitehall. So on Halloween night, when Tinkerbell comes to your door, give them a little Hershey bar, okay? Any questions from the floor? Okay, Mr. Secretary, will you please poll the board, starting with our past president?
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard.
Of course.
They don't have, of course.
It's I and they on the
An
sheet.
exception for
Guess
me.
which one I want?
That's right.
Okay.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Dutt,
Absolutely, yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
and President Armstrong.
Aye.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion to approve the reappointment of John Kelly to serve on the Recreation Committee, representing the community at large, term expiring September 30th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do I have any questions from the board? Any questions from the floor?
Yeah, I would like to make one comment. Mr. Kelly has been on this board for quite a few years now. And he's very dedicated also over the years to the Shadow Playground. He is a complete asset to the whole recreation scenario in this township. The guy has done wonderful work, and must make that comment because we don't get to see these people.
No.
You're right. Any questions from the floor? Mr. Secretary, will you please poll the board?
Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ginder.
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder.
For a change, I'll say aye, just to get that in there, because it's almost coming to an end.
And
Aye.
President Armstrong.
Yes.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion requiring DBS Enterprises, Inc. to proceed through Whitehall Township's land development process with respect to that portion of its property lying in Whitehall Township as shown on its land development plan for proposed multi-tenant residential buildings at 250 North 2nd Street, Copley Borough and Copley Road, Whitehall Township. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Okay, one of you. Okay, there we go. That's easy.
Did you want to go first?
Whatever you want.
Okay. I can feel the love up here. Any questions from the board?
I do. Mrs. Rackus, I know. What percentage, I mean, if there was a square foot in Whitehall, what percentage, is there any guidelines whatsoever, or is it just that the property adjoins Whitehall Township and it's part of the parcel?
There's probably about 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, and part of the border goes right through what I building. So we're catching a good chunk of it.
I think you're asking what the threshold is.
Yes, is there a
Even
threshold?
if it touches.
What's that?
Even if it touches.
Yes.
Yes. So even if it just touches,
Yes.
then we have the ability to require it.
Okay. And what, because it's a dual municipality ordeal, now Copley goes ahead and lets everything go, and we have a problem. What scope can we, how far can we go with that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and Attorney Fonzone would correct me, I'm sure, if I speak out of turn, but what I understand is we have control over what we have control over. We don't have control over Copley, and Copley doesn't have control over us. And what his office has made, the decision that even though Copley has approved it and granted it additional relief to occur, that's not binding on us in any way. Similarly, what our actions are not binding on Copley, unless, of course, we would decide to appeal whatever decision they have made, and vice versa.
Like, will we do a dual CO, dual permitting?
I believe, and again, I would defer to the legal minds in the room, but when a building is sliced, and even Tom may know this better than me, when a building is sliced by the boundaries, the jurisdictional boundaries, then the owner, I think, has the option to elect which municipality is the taxing authority. The MPC is one thing, but I think from a taxing standpoint, that's another matter. So I think that there's going to be questions, and I know that the owner he contacted me today, he has some questions about like our ability to assess fees, to, because we do have fees that Copley Borough does not. Those are things I think we'll have to vet through the review process, and what our legal ability is to do that. Personally, I mean, I don't see the reason why, the UCC is in effect in every municipality in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So there should be no difference with the construction of those units. It's going to determine like the inspection, whoever would do it. I don't really know the reason what would be beneficial, and that's up to you to decide that, but I don't know any beneficial reason for us to want to inspect those properties when 95% of them are in the borough of Copley.
But as far as fees, that's my concern. Isn't it almost a double jeopardy? Because it would be allowable for us to charge fees and Copley Borough to charge fees at the same time. In fairness to the developer, should he be subjected to 2 sets of fees or 1? That's the gray area I don't understand.
And I would think that if we're going to defer the building permits, because most of our fees are triggered by the securing of the permit.
Right.
If we would defer to Copley, then I would believe we defer our fees as well. But that, again, is not my final say.
Next meeting? Okay. All right, thank you.
Are you finished?
Yes.
I'd just like, didn't we go through something similar, but then the entire project changed with the Giant,
Correct.
with Copley? We went through this.
Same property.
Same property, yes. But I really hope that we're going to be, I don't mean make any exceptions, I would never say that. No exceptions for a developer, but I do hope that, I think this is a great asset for Copley. And I think the part of it that's in Whitehall is good for us too, and I hope that we can work with the developer and help him in any way we can and not be a stumbling block for them, because I think it's a good thing. I think they need it, and I hope we can help. I know we have to follow the law, I understand that, but I also think we shouldn't, we should be there also to help them in any way that we can. I just think it's a good thing.
Well, the review will go both for the use and the development plan through the planning and your boards. So
Right.
You'll be the boards that have every say-so on that.
And I think what Joe brought up about, I think in the monies, I think that we could work all that out. That would be part of what we do. Maybe not me, but part of what we do.
Wasn't it the Lake Pilot?
Yeah, yes, it was.
Not Giant Lake.
What did I say?
Giant.
Oh, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're just I'm right. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you, Lee.
Please, I'll still be calling you.
Any other questions from the floor?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Secretary, will you please poll the board?
Yes, definitely.
Commissioner Swaniker, aye. Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Dutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ginder,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
President Armstrong.
Aye.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Reports of public officials. We'll start with Board of Commissioners. Mr. Marks.
I have nothing.
Mr. Dutt.
I just have a couple things. There is going to be a community breakfast from the Whitehall Community Foundation for Sherry Noctor on Tuesday, November 14th at 8 a.m. at the Fellowship Manor, honoring her volunteerism for the township. It costs $20. You can contact the Whitehall Community Foundation if you'd like to attend. Second thing is the senior center is doing really well. We added a new exercise class and adding more people for lunch, so we're doing really well there. Third thing is we had a town hall meeting at the Union Hall on Lehigh Street this past month, where we had 22 people talking about having the Thomas Ironworks neighborhood in Hackendakwa being put on the National Registry for Historic Places. It went really well. We plan on having more meetings in the future to dates to be determined on those as well. And last thing is, early December we're going to have a press conference and a tour of the Thomas Ironworks neighborhood. Date to be determined, but I believe it will be the first weekend in December. So that's all I have.
Okay.
I just want to send my condolences out to the Hansberger family. We lost a great one. Seems like it's happening more and more, unfortunately. I thank Claire for, I was a young commissioner coming on this board, and as you know, the advice he gave for being on the board was very well received by me. And when you look at his life and all he's done and all he's meant to this township, I spent my formative years playing sports at the Memorial Park there in Fullerton, and had a great childhood because of the work of Claire and others like him, and I just appreciate all of his work. That's all I got.
Bill?
Yeah, and for things like the rail trail, leaves out an example. They haven't had a decent budget statement since almost the beginning of the year.
They're completed now.
All these,
The matching funds is completed because the new software is finally enacted.
because I get hammered with this every month.
It's done. The parks are coming in to pick theirs up.
So
The treasurers,
everybody's got to have theirs as of
they're done.
at least the meetings for November. Wonderful, wonderful. Do we, and I'm not sure, Attorney Fonzon,
Yes, sir.
if this board wishes to make a donation to one of Commissioner Hunsberger's charities is the word, thanks. Must that be done by motion, or can the amount just be designated to come out of the commissioner's budget?
I think you still need a motion to put it on the record.
Yes.
That wasn't it.
So much. I might wipe it all out. You don't know what's in there.
Can we
Find out first?
Yeah, we,
I
yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah.
The deputy mayor is doing the budget.
Right. No, not that we clean it out.
No.
Right.
Yeah. Hopefully nobody else. Yeah.
Can I do mine now, the back?
Okay.
I just have one thing. My sentiments is, I agree with Commissioner Howard. I know Claire, knew Claire, know Claire, for many, I can't even begin to tell you, I don't want to tell you, but Claire and I have been friends for many, many, many years. We went on trips together as far as checking out golf driving ranges in other communities. He was just a good person. And I will tell you, Claire's heart belonged to Whitehall. Maybe sometimes you might be on the board when you think, oh, you know, I don't disagree, but his heart was in the right place. Whitehall was #1 to him, and it will always be. And rest in peace, Claire.
You're good for $250.
$250.
Would that wipe it out? Is
No.
that okay with you? So do you want to make that a?
I'll make a motion that the Board of Commissioners from their internal fund donate $250 to, what's the name,
Lord's Memorial Playground as an athletic association.
to that association in the name of Claire Hunsberger, former Whitehall Township Commissioner.
I'll second it.
You would appreciate that, I can tell you.
Sure. Okay. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the floor?
What's the amount?
250.